My beloved child, let me begin by touching the part of your heart that still aches in silence, the part that has waited far too long for someone to affirm what I already confirmed. I see the version of you that quietly wonders, am I too much? Or maybe not enough? The one who questions if your quietness makes you invisible, or if your boldness makes you too loud. You've been second-guessing your uniqueness, comparing your steps to others, trying to figure out if your difference disqualifies you. I've watched you scan the room, looking for a nod of agreement, hoping that someone, anyone, would simply say, I see you and I believe in what you carry. You've turned to mentors, to friends, to leaders who meant well, but their silence made you question your worth. And in those quiet seasons, you began to wonder, maybe you weren't ready, or worse, maybe you weren't chosen at all. But I speak to your heart now, with clarity, finality, and power. You were chosen, not by a group, not by a crowd, not by human vote or earthly consensus. You were chosen by me. You don't need their approval to move forward in what I've called you to. You don't need their applause to walk in the authority I placed on your life. You don't need their recognition to start, and you certainly don't need their permission to continue. When I called you, heaven didn't take a poll. Your assignment wasn't up for debate. Heaven doesn't operate by popularity. It operates by purpose. And from the very beginning, you were marked by divine purpose, long before you ever drew your first breath. Let me take you back. Before the pain, before the rejection, before the comparisons and misunderstandings that made you shrink yourself, before you began lowering your volume so others could feel comfortable, before you started believing it was safer to stay quiet than to be misread. I saw who you were even then, and I still see it now. You didn't lose your anointing when they failed to see your presence. You didn't lose your favor when they overlooked your voice. You didn't miss your moment. What looked like delay was my divine development. I was building you in silence, and now I am preparing to reveal what they never saw coming. You've wondered why others advanced while you were left behind, why doors closed even when you were qualified, why you felt invisible in rooms you were ready for. But it wasn't punishment, it was protection. I was shielding the treasure within you, growing it in secret, because the weight of your calling is not ordinary. The oil on your life, it was never meant for shallow platforms or fleeting validation. It was meant to break chains, to shift atmospheres, to awaken the sleeping and shake the stagnant. That kind of anointing cannot be affirmed by people who were never assigned to recognize it. That's why their silence was necessary. If I had let them celebrate you too soon, you would have built your identity on applause that couldn't carry the weight of your calling. I love you too much to let you settle for a counterfeit foundation. So I took you through hidden places. I led you into quiet valleys where my whisper grew louder than the world's noise. I allowed seasons where misunderstanding refined your voice. You had to stop explaining yourself, not out of frustration, but out of obedience. And now you rise. Not because you fought for a platform, but because you surrendered to the process. I saw those nights when you didn't pray for fame, you prayed for faithfulness. I watched as you stayed silent when you could have defended yourself. I honored your decision to keep showing up, to keep serving when others questioned your worth. I heard every yes you whispered to me in rooms where your voice was ignored. Heaven responded, not with the sound of applause, but with authority. I'm not sending you into this next season to impress others. I'm sending you to impact them. I'm placing you in rooms where your voice won't just echo, it will be needed. Where your gifts won't be tolerated, they'll be honored. Where you won't have to compromise your soul to belong. You won't have to justify your fire, explain your process, or defend your positioning. The oil I've placed on your life will speak louder than your words ever could. Yes, there will still be people who don't understand. Some will cling to outdated versions of you. Some will question your growth. But you won't need to prove anything. Your fruit will speak. Your consistency will testify. Your peace will preach. And my presence will confirm that it was never about you making it happen. It was always about me. You've looked around for affirmation. You've searched for signs. But the truth is, heaven has already endorsed you. My spirit has anointed you. My hand has already gone ahead of you. Everything you thought you needed from them, I already placed in you. The courage, the wisdom, the discernment, the favor. You are not lacking. You're not behind. You're not forgotten. You are not on the outside trying to prove your place. You have already been sent, so lift your head. You are approved by the only one who never gets it wrong. Let that truth steady your heart when you're doubted. Let it anchor your confidence when you're questioned. Let it be your security when others grow silent. I didn't bring you this far to leave you guessing. I brought you here to remind you, their silence does not define your worth. I do. You were born for this, not because you are flawless, but because you are willing. And that's all I've ever needed. You are not behind. You are not forgotten. You are not less than. You are established, chosen, appointed, approved by heaven itself. You are backed by my grace, and my hand still rests over your life. So come back to the altar, not just to ask me for the next step, but to remember who you are. Return to the place where truth outweighs fear. Let me speak again what you've stopped declaring over yourself. Say it with me now. I am called. I am chosen. I am enough. I am ready. Let those words become your daily language. Let your prayers rise not with hesitation, but with holy expectation. You were never meant to live waiting for someone else's approval. You already have mine. Now live like it. Walk like it. Speak like it. But before we go forward, let's talk about the part of your story that still stings. Yes, that part. The one you've tried to move past, but it keeps surfacing. It whispers through your decisions, echoing in moments you thought were healed. I know you've forgiven. I know you've moved on. And yes, in many ways you've made peace. But there's a quiet residue that still lingers, a subtle ache that shows up when you hear certain names, step into certain rooms, or feel that familiar doubt try to creep back in. It's not just the memory of what happened, it's the way it reshaped your view of yourself. You weren't only rejected, you were reshaped by rejection. You weren't just overlooked, you were wounded by the silence, by the dismissal, by the subtle messages that told your heart, you don't belong. You've heard the well-meaning words, it's not personal, it wasn't your time. Don't take it too hard. But those words never touched the deeper wound, because you didn't just remember the pain, you remembered what it made you feel about you. That's where the fracture happened. That's where I want to go now. You are not the version of yourself that rejection tried to create. You are not who you became in that season of silence, in that space where you were misjudged, misunderstood, and mislabeled. You may have carried that pain, but it was never your identity. You are not defined by who left, who didn't see you, or what they failed to say. You are mine, and I know who you truly are. I saw what they didn't. While I didn't cause those wounds, I carried you through them. I sat with you in the silence. I heard the cries no one else noticed. I walked with you through every inner battle, through every question you couldn't put into words. You questioned your worth, not because it was lost, but because you had attached it to reactions that were never meant to hold that kind of power. You tried to stay strong, you adapted, you convinced yourself that you were fine. And in many ways you were. But fine is not the same as healed. Moving on is not the same as being made whole. And now I offer you something deeper, something permanent. Not a momentary feeling of peace, but a full restoration. Not to make you forget, but to allow you to remember differently. I want to go back with you, not to reopen wounds, but to reveal what I was doing right in the middle of them. I wasn't absent. I wasn't distracted. I wasn't silent. I was shielding you from connections that looked like opportunity, but were designed to sabotage. I was protecting your clarity. I was strengthening your discernment. I was preparing you to recognize my voice above every other. What you thought was abandonment was actually alignment. They may have walked away, but I stayed. They may have dismissed you, but I preserved you. Not because you were weak, but because you are set apart. I protect what I anoint, and I anointed you. Even when the door closed and you were left wondering what you did wrong, the answer was this: nothing. You weren't being punished, you were being formed. And now I'm not just healing the pain, I'm redeeming the entire process. I will use every wound to carry weight. I will use every dismissal to birth discernment. Every silence moment will now amplify your voice with greater clarity and power. This is not about proving anything. This is about becoming the version of yourself that no longer needs permission to breathe deeply or walk boldly. The burden to explain, to justify, to be understood, that burden is no longer yours. You're free, not because it didn't happen, but because it no longer gets to define you. You're walking out of the false identity pain tried to pin on you, and you're stepping into the identity I spoke over your life before time began. You are shaped not by rejection, but by revelation. You are not broken. You are rebuilt. You are not discarded. You are destined. You are not invisible. You are seen and sent. And here's what I need you to understand next. Your healing, your wholeness, will impact more people than your pain ever could. Your restoration will break cycles. It will be a blueprint for others. You are not just a survivor. You are a living testimony of what happens when someone chooses me over bitterness, surrender over shame, intimacy over isolation. So stop hiding the pain like it's a secret. Don't let it shape how you walk into new spaces. Don't let rejection's ghost rob you of the peace I'm offering you now. Let me heal it, all of it, even the pieces you've learned to live with, even the ones you've labeled just part of my story. Let me touch them completely. They didn't have to believe in you for you to be chosen. I did, and I still do. Now that your heart is reopening and your identity is being restored, let me show you what's shifting around you. While I was working in your spirit, I've also been aligning things in the natural. The promises I made, those sacred whispers you tucked away because they felt too heavy, they are still alive. They didn't expire. They've been maturing while you were healing. And now, they're breaking the surface. You're not just entering a season of fulfillment. You're stepping into a season of confirmation. Not vague signs, but specific clarity that will speak to your spirit. You've asked me if you heard right. You've asked me if that dream was truly from me. Now I'm answering, with alignment, with timing, with divine moments you won't be able to deny. You'll hear conversations that echo what you prayed in secret. You'll see people return, not to resume old patterns, but to reconcile and redeem. You'll notice doors move, doors you thought were permanently sealed. Don't dismiss these things. These are not coincidences. They are confirmations. Some of them will come through unusual avenues. Because I'm not limited to the familiar. I don't need the same people or the same process to fulfill my promise. Stop looking for me where you last saw me. I'm doing something new. Provision will come from unexpected hands. Promotion will rise in unlikely places. Don't judge the form, discern the fruit. I'm aligning you with divine connections, people who carry what you need and need what you carry. These won't be surface-level relationships. These will be kingdom assignments. You'll recognize them not by how they flatter you, but by how they call you higher. They will honor the weight you carry without trying to control it. They will understand your language because they were prepared to hear it. And yes, there will be restoration. There will be full circle moments. But not all of them are for reopening. Some are for closure. Let me give you discernment to know the difference. Provision is coming, not just financially, but emotionally, spiritually, and relationally. What looked like lack will now feel like overflow. And when it comes, yes, it may feel sudden. But to me, this has been building all along. The wait was never punishment, it was preparation. There will also be divine disruption. Some doors will close fast, some relationships will fade. Don't panic, it's not sabotage. It's me sifting, removing what can't walk with you into this next chapter. I'm protecting your peace. I'm guarding your forward motion. And I'm placing a new weight on your words. What once felt like quiet impressions will now become clear direction. You'll feel it. Others will see it. They'll say, there's something different about you. It's not your tone. It's my truth rising within you. Your voice won't perform. It will pierce. It will shift atmospheres. You've walked with me in the dark long enough. Now I'm lighting your path, not with total visibility, but with unshakable peace. That peace will be your compass. Follow it, trust it. It will guide you between assignment and distraction, my timing and your anxiety. And hear me clearly, you are not late, you are not behind. What you thought was lost time was simply me working behind the curtain. Now I'm redeeming time, not by rewinding it, but by accelerating you forward. You're about to catch up to everything I've spoken, because I was never late and neither are you. So walk boldly, speak clearly, listen closely. The fulfillment is unfolding, not because you forced it, but because you stayed with me. You don't need their permission. You already have my promise. And when fear tries to whisper lies into your heart, I want you to answer back, not with your feelings, not with your doubt, but with my word. When insecurity rises, speak truth louder. Let scripture become your sword, not just for study, but for survival. My word isn't meant to sit quietly on pages. It's meant to rise up in your voice. Let a single verse be your anchor. If that's all you can carry today, carry it boldly. Say it aloud. Preach it to your own heart. Let it confront the lies before they grow roots. You won't stay steady because your emotions cooperate. You'll stay steady because your foundation is built on something eternal. My word will not fail you. Steward your relationships with wisdom. I'm sending the right voices into your life in this season. People who can handle the weight of your calling. People who see the gift you carry and don't flinch at its responsibility. Honor those alignments, but stay discerning. Not every voice that cheers for you is meant to walk with you. Just because they see you doesn't mean they're assigned to build with you. I will show you the difference, who's called to co-labor and who was simply part of your becoming. Trust me with that discernment. It will protect your energy and guard your vision. Rest, intentionally, not as an afterthought, not as a reward, but as a sacred rhythm. You've been conditioned to feel guilty for slowing down, to believe that rest equals laziness. But that's a lie. Rest is not weakness, it's strategy. I wrote it into creation itself, and I've written it into your calling. I want you to set aside time to breathe, to pause, to worship me without performance, without agenda. Let rest become your resistance against burnout. Rest recalibrates you. Rest makes room for my voice to be heard again in clarity. Above all, remain in me. Stay close. The higher I take you, the more vital my presence becomes. You're not being elevated for applause. You're being positioned for purpose. And with that purpose comes weight. You'll need me to carry it. So stay humble, stay rooted, stay responsive. Their approval will always be inconsistent, but my voice, it never wavers. You don't have to chase affirmation anymore. I've already commissioned you. And now let me speak to that deeper place inside, the place that still wonders if you're enough, the part of you that still feels the need to prove something. You've walked far. You've surrendered. You've started to trust me even in the dark. But I see those old echoes, those questions that linger. Am I truly enough for this? What if I'm still not ready? What if they were right about me? Those voices, those are not yours, and they are not mine. They are remnants of a broken system that taught you to earn what I've already freely given. It told you that calling was fragile, that value had to be validated, that favor was conditional. But I've never once required your perfection. I've always moved through your willingness. I'm not just calling you into your next step. I'm healing how you see yourself while you go. You are not the version of yourself that molded to their comfort. You are not the diminished voice that tried to be more palatable to avoid criticism. You are not the background player in a story I've asked you to lead. I am restoring the original you, the one I dreamed up before time, the one who doesn't shrink back, the one who stands steady, not in pride, but in divine clarity, the one who carries quiet authority because heaven already gave the yes. And I'm saying it again. You are not too late. You didn't miss it. That delay you thought disqualified you, it was design. That rejection you thought was a setback, it was redirection. What looked like loss was me realigning your life to a better path. I was protecting you from needing their applause to bloom. You are not lacking, you are aligned. I know it's been lonely. I know it's hard to speak from places no one else understands. I've watched you discern things that others couldn't perceive. I've seen how exhausting it is to carry a vision others can't yet see. But hear me. You are not broken because they didn't understand you. You are deepened. The depth in your voice, the softness in your spirit, the sharpness in your sight, Those weren't born in popularity. They were forged in silence. Now because you didn't quit, because you kept showing up even when no one clapped. I'm not just restoring your place. I'm restoring your posture. You won't have to strive anymore. You won't have to manage perception. I'm settling the question of identity once and for all. You are chosen. You are whole. You are powerful. You are steady. And when you walk into rooms now, you won't have to announce your authority. The atmosphere will shift because you're no longer performing. You're aligned. I'm giving you your voice back. Not the voice that pleases others, but the one that proclaims truth to your own soul. The voice that says, I am still here. I am still called. I still carry what he placed in me. That voice is no longer silenced by insecurity or shaped by shame. You don't need to shout to be strong. You need only speak with the calm certainty of someone who knows they've been sent. You are not working for worth. You are building from wholeness. You are not trying to be what they'll accept. You are becoming what I've always seen in you. This isn't a season of striving to climb higher. This is a season of digging deeper. Let your roots go down so far into truth that no lack of applause can shake you and no spotlight can inflate you. Your value isn't rooted in what you do. It's rooted in my presence, and my presence has never left you. Even when you doubted, even when you stumbled, even when you disqualified yourself. I never stopped calling you mine, so stop apologizing for the space you now take up. Stop wondering if your voice is too soft, too messy, too late. I don't choose the loudest, I choose the willing, and you, my child, have always been willing. Let this be settled. You are not an accident. You are not a placeholder. You are not a second-best version of someone else's calling. You are mine, and that's enough. You've waited for them to see it. You don't have to wait anymore. Heaven has already spoken. The assignment has already been released. The authority has already been transferred. Now that your identity has been realigned and your heart has been restored, I want to teach you how to keep walking in this new rhythm. A rhythm that doesn't just start with fire, but finishes with faithfulness. Because calling that isn't stewarded becomes draining. Favor that isn't rooted becomes overwhelming. Identity that isn't nurtured becomes unstable. I want you to walk with me now, closer than ever. I want to protect your pace and guard your peace. So let's start here. Prayer. Not the kind you recite for others, not the kind you run to when trouble comes. I want a deeper communion, daily, quiet, honest, consistent. Come to me first, before your phone, before the headlines, before insecurity gets a word in. Let me be your first voice. You don't have to impress me. You just have to show up. Give me your mornings. Even if it's simple, God, I give you this day. That's enough. I will meet you there. I will align you from the beginning. And when your day feels long, I'll sustain you not with adrenaline, but with peace. Let me walk with you, not just in your planned moments, but in the pauses, in your car, in between thoughts. Ask me what I'm saying. Ask me what's really going on. I will answer. I always have. This is what it means to be spirit-led. Constant communion, not occasional check-ins. I'm not distant, I'm present, and all I want is your attention. Let's also talk about your attitude. Not just towards others, but toward yourself. You have nothing to prove. You don't need to outpace anyone. You only need to match my rhythm, and my rhythm is never frantic. Let peace be your guide. If anxiety rises, come back to me. Reset your spiritual thermostat. Let peace set the tone of your heart. Stop minimizing what I've asked you to do. Just because it doesn't look flashy doesn't mean it's not significant. Stop needing the crowd to validate what I asked for in secret. Obey me even when it's quiet, even when no one sees. That's how legacy is built, through faithful obedience, not momentary applause. And finally, my word, your anchor, your lifeline. Do not neglect it. Don't just run to it in emergencies. Return to it daily. Let it correct you. Let it build you. Let it renew your mind. If you felt distant from Scripture, begin again. Don't let shame keep you away. Start small. Let the Psalms comfort you. Let the Gospels reveal me again. Memorize my truth. Declare it out loud when lies try to rise. You are not what you feel. You are what I've called you. My word will hold you steady in the wildest storms. It will be your compass when nothing else makes sense. Let it shape your vision, your choices, your language. Be mindful of your spiritual environment. What you hear, what you consume, what you allow, it all shapes your soul. Cut the noise. Guard your peace. Say no when you must. You don't need to be everywhere. You don't need to carry what isn't yours. I've given you grace for what I've assigned, not for what everyone demands. This season will require sharp discernment. Not everything that looks good is from me. You'll need to know when to stay, when to go, when to speak, when to wait. And that wisdom, it won't come from analysis. It'll come from my presence. Stay close. This journey isn't just about reaching a destination. It's about becoming someone who walks with me through all of it. And finally, rest again. Don't wait for exhaustion to remind you of what I've already made sacred. Build rest into your life on purpose. I didn't design you to run on adrenaline. I designed you to live in rhythm, with pauses, with stillness, with laughter, with worship. This is how you walk now, anchored in prayer, rooted in truth, surrounded by peace, led by presence, and marked by quiet, unshakable obedience. You don't need to chase what you already carry. You don't need to earn the space I've already cleared. Just stay with me. Let me lead. Let my presence keep you steady. You don't need their approval. You just need to stay aligned with mine. Now lean in, child, because what I'm about to speak is not just a general encouragement, not a vague promise meant for the masses. No, this is a personal declaration, one spoken straight into your soul, over your very life. These words aren't echoes from a distance. They are confirmation of everything I've whispered to you in your most hidden moments. And now what I declared in secret is beginning to align with what I am revealing in public. You stayed faithful when you were misunderstood. You remained steady when silence echoed louder than affirmation. You trusted me when doors didn't open and voices you longed to hear went quiet. You chose obedience over applause. And now I speak over you with a clarity that silences every doubt. The shift has begun. This is a divine transition, one that may not look like what you imagined, but one that will feel like everything your spirit always knew to be true. It's not just new opportunities, it's a new identity rising within you. I am not only restoring what was lost, I am revealing what was hidden. What you carried quietly, what you nurtured in obscurity, what you wept over in silence is about to carry undeniable weight. What they overlooked will soon become undeniable. Not because you've changed to gain attention, but because you finally dared to become the fullness of what I already knew you were. And now things will move quickly. Alignments that were delayed will begin to accelerate. Closed conversations will reopen. Resources once out of reach will suddenly flow. You'll hear yes where there used to be silence. You'll see people return, not to manipulate, but to honor what they now see clearly. But hear me, this shift is not just about how others see you. It's about how you begin to see yourself. The hesitation you've carried, it's breaking. The weight of timidity, lifting. The need for outside permission, it's falling away. You're not walking in trying to earn a seat. You're walking in knowing you were sent. And with that knowing will come a quiet, unstoppable authority. You won't need to announce yourself. My presence on your life will speak louder than anything you could say. Your very being will carry the evidence of my hand. People will notice. Doors will open. Clarity will replace confusion. Not because of strategy, but because of my spirit. This is not coincidence. It is confirmation. The same heaven that called you in the dark is now revealing you in the light. And yes, I will begin sending you to places that stretch you. Assignments will carry more weight. Instructions will come with precision. But don't be afraid. I would not place this in your hands if I hadn't already prepared your heart. You're not walking in empty. You're walking in equipped. Every divine intersection, every convergence of passions, burdens, and gifts is me weaving the threads. The waiting wasn't wasted. The silence wasn't useless. I've been building something complete from the pieces you entrusted to me, and now the picture is becoming clear. You'll start feeling peace where you used to feel pressure. You'll carry freedom in places that once felt heavy. Your focus has matured. Your spirit has deepened. You're no longer just trying to fit in, you're flowing in purpose. And I know some people won't understand the change. They'll see your presence shift, your clarity sharpen, your voice rise with boldness, and they may not know how to respond. Let me handle that. You don't need to explain your evolution. You don't need to shrink to make others feel comfortable. Love them, honor them, but do not let their discomfort define your next chapter. This journey isn't about convincing, it's about building. And in the moments where the path feels unfamiliar or the weight feels intimidating, return to my words. Not what they said, not what you feel, not what you fear, but what I said, because my word hasn't changed, my presence hasn't shifted, and I'm not done. You're going to see new fruit, step into new space, and experience unexpected favor. But more than anything, you're going to see yourself, not the version shaped by fear or rejection, but the one aligned with heaven's design. This is not about striving anymore. This is about partnership. The question isn't, will they let me? But God, where are you sending me? And I am answering now. Go. Let them catch up if they must. Heaven has already released your assignment. What tried to bury you will now announce you. And now, as the shift unfolds around you, I draw your heart inward again. Because what I'm building in your life will never be sustained by visibility alone. It must be rooted in intimacy, daily, quiet, tender communion with me. I'm not just interested in using you. I want to be with you. I want to dwell deep in your soul and heal the places you've hidden from everyone else, places you've guarded, places you've adapted around. Let me in, not to shame you, but to rebuild you from the inside out. You've tried to carry strength alone. You've smiled through storms and held yourself together when you were breaking. You've performed stability while trembling on the inside, but I'm not calling you to manage your pain anymore. I'm calling you to let me transform it. Let me into the places you stopped talking about, the parts you labeled just part of the story. I want those too, not to expose you, but to heal you. My spirit is not waiting for perfection. He's already working. And now that you're still enough to feel it, you'll begin to notice his fingerprints everywhere. It will be subtle, in tears you can't explain, in peace you can't deny, in the quiet when your habits start to shift and your heart stays still instead of spiraling. That's me. That's transformation. You'll start to feel me not just in loud worship, but in your every breath. I'm not a guest in your life. I'm building a home inside you. Let me form a sanctuary there, a place where my peace rules your thoughts, where my voice is louder than insecurity. I'm tearing down what pressure built, and I'm restoring what love anchors. Simplicity, stillness, oneness with me. That's where power lives. That's where authority grows. You'll notice that you don't react the way you used to. You'll carry clarity where confusion used to live. Your peace will go before your words. You'll shift atmospheres not with effort, but with presence. Because you're not the same. You've been refined in hidden places. And now I release you. Not into performance, but into purpose. Not into striving, but into steady obedience. The gifts I placed in you, they're coming alive. Prophetic clarity, wisdom, discernment, healing through intercession, strategy and silence. These aren't coming later. They are awakening now. And it's not because you're extraordinary. It's because you're yielded. So walk in this rhythm. Move when I say move. Wait when I say wait. Speak when I give you words. Rest when I give you peace. Don't live on adrenaline. Live on alignment. Joy isn't on the other side of breakthrough. It's right here, in union with me. And now, child, this is your commissioning. You're not waiting to be chosen. You are chosen. You don't need applause to believe in the assignment. What I've placed in you wasn't voted on. It was breathed in from the beginning of time. This is not the beginning of becoming. This is the beginning of releasing. You've already been approved. Heaven has already spoken. You're not too late. You're not too broken. You're right on time. And I will go before you, align what no one else could align, and sustain you through the promise I've prepared. You don't need to ask for one more sign. You don't need to wait for another nod. I've already said yes. So now, rise. Walk slowly when needed. Speak wisely. Stay faithful. You're not here to prove. You're here to release. You're not rising in bitterness. You're rising in peace. This is your moment. Say it with me. God, I hear you. I receive it. I have your yes, and that's enough. And if these words stirred something deep in your spirit, if you felt confirmation rise like breath in your lungs, don't let it end here. This was not just a message. This was an invitation. Respond. Declare your yes in the open. Write what shifted. Speak what you're stepping into. Let it be your marker of alignment. Because when you respond, you're not answering a video. You're answering me. And I will meet you in that response. With power, with clarity, with peace. You are ready? Now go. Amen.